I used a few of these stats from Larry Schwartz's piece over on Alternet today when debating with Neil McCabe in the 1 hour ago right now. And I just wanted to share the rest of this with you, or some more of this. I refer you to alternet.org for the whole thing. But he points out between 1946 and the mid-'70s, productivity in America grew by 104%, and so did wages. Why? Because the unions demanded that. Hey, you're getting more productivity, you're making more profit, you pay our wages more. But that was the end of that. He says, combined with the rise of Ronald Reagan's conservative revolution at home, accelerated the long and painful contraction of the middle class. So now in 81% of American counties, the median, now this is household income, so it's typically two wage earners. In 81% of American counties, the median income, about $52,000, is less than it was 15 years ago. This is despite the fact that the economy has grown 83% in the past quarter century, and corporate profits have doubled. American workers produce twice the amount of goods and services as 25 years ago, but are actually making less than they were 15 years ago. The amount of money that was given out in bonuses on Wall Street last year is twice the amount of all the money earned by minimum wage workers in the United States combined. That's just Wall Street. The wealthiest 85 people on the planet have more money than 3.5 billion others. The average wealth of an American adult is $250,000 to $300,000, but that includes Bill Gates and the Koch brothers and the Walton family, who are worth hundreds of billions, or over $100 billion. He references the old joke about, you got 9 guys in a bar and with an average wealth of $100,000 each, and Bill Gates walks into the room. The average wealth now has become, what, 3 billion, 5 billion, something like that. But if you look at the median, which, is sort of the average of the average, it accounts for those outliers, the billionaires. The median per adult number is only $39,000. That's how much wealth the average American family has, or American adults, placing us 27th in the world, behind Australia, most of Europe, and even small countries like New Zealand and Ireland. They're wealthier than we are. Italians, Belgians, and Japanese citizens are wealthier than Americans. The poorest half of the world's population owns 1% of the world's wealth. 50% of the people own 1% of the wealth. The richest 1% of the Earth's population own 46% of the world's wealth. In the United States, the poorest half of the United States own 2.5% of our country's wealth. This is 50% of America owns 2.5% of our wealth. The top 1% owns 35% of all the wealth in the United States. The slice of the national income pie going to the wealthiest 1% of Americans since the day that Ronald Reagan came into office has doubled. The 1% also takes home 20% of all the income in the United States. 50% of all stocks, bonds, and mutual funds are owned by the top 1%, whereas the bottom 50% of Americans own only 1/2 of 1% of stocks and bonds. So much for thinking that a 401k is going to save you, right? While taxes on working people are pretty much the same as they were in 1960, taxes on the top 1%, the highest earning Americans, have gone from on almost 70% tax rate down to around 35% today. Corporate taxes have dropped from 30% in the 1950s to under 10% today. Now, the top marginal rate is still 30%, but what they actually pay is around 10%. And it goes on and on. I mean, this is just these, and it's not like, I'm peddling envy here. This is not good for a country. It's structurally a bad thing when wealth is concentrated like this, because it takes money out of the productive economy. When billionaires have money, they stash it. Right? They put it in the stock market, which inflates the stock market, or they put it in bonds, which makes it unavailable for recycling, as it were, or they put it in Swiss bank accounts, like Mitt Romney has. When working people have extra money, they spend it, which makes the economy go well. So this kind of inequality actually harms the economy. Something FDR told us all about.